Well, I'm pretty sure I'm live. Pull this up, pull this over. How are you guys doing? It's your boy, Jam Pack Double O Gaming, James Ryan, whatever you want to call me. All right, so let's just start here. We're gonna do some tier lists, and we might end up on YouTube. Probably will end up on YouTube. I don't know how long I'm gonna be doing this. This could be an hour, but we're gonna look at some of these tier makers, and I'm gonna rank them. So let's just go through it. So this is sports. Mm, How about we just go to categories and we could just keep going through here. Let's go to. Let's look through some of these. The it probably is under NFL, isn't it? Yeah, it probably is. So we're gonna do some NFL, MLB, NBA, and then let me look see if they got any automotive. They have everything. They have a lot of different things, and maybe I'll do video games if I feel like it. Um, just make sure that's it. Mm, I don't know enough about soccer. I know a lot, but I'm still learning it. We might do foods and drinks. Um, Let me just make sure that's it. Yeah, cars. So we'll do that too as well. So we're gonna start with the most boring. MLB. Um, just look. Oh, I might do that one. Uh, yeah, I mean, let's just go with favorite MLB players. Oh, yeah. Oh, make sure I didn't stop anything. All right. So this is. Oh God, I don't know. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. We're gonna have to go back. We're just gonna go with the things that I know for sure until do a bit more research. So we're just gonna start with NFL. I know that this one. Hopefully it loads within this first century. Mm. Let's do season predictions, and then we'll do starting quarterbacks. Um, and we'll do. Mm, yeah, we'll start with those two, and then we'll go to the next one. Season predictions. So we got our 11 to 13 wins, 9 to 10, 7 to 8, 5 to 6, and 3 to 4, and then their 3 to 4 is I guess bare minimum. Um, Wish there was a way to add one. But um, so 3 and 4 will actually go down to 0 to 4 wins. Um, and we'll try and weed out some of these teams that we automatically know will be really really good. Well, let's just split it up. Okay, so teams that will go bad. Let's just start here. So the Cleveland Browns are coming back with a lot of the same staff and players that they were. Um, I don't. after their playoff successes, I do honestly think hold on. That's not where they're going to be placed. I just gotta make sure my Xbox doesn't turn off. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna get a tea so I can continue drinking and everything. Hold up, hold up. Oh, nice pop. All right, continue on. So, Cleveland, after last season, I think that there are still a 9 to 10 wins in this season. I don't see tons with the lack of overall change with them being a difference. So last year, San Francisco was like really terrible, bugged by injuries, like all kinds of bad injuries. They were on the route to being a Super Bowl caliber team. I'm going to probably put them in 9 to 10 wins, just from the pure fact that the big situation at quarterback with Jimmy G really makes me a bit uneasy because there seems to be a lack of faith there that seems to be it's a weird situation. I'm just putting it at that. It's not a situation that I would want to be put in if I was even close to the team. But I think it's one of those serviceable ones. Like, and it always seemed that way. Like we want somebody else, but if we don't get someone else, we don't mind rolling on with Jimmy G. Um, but it's like a Brock Osweiler situation after Peyton Manning. But not quite to the extent because Jimmy G's still very, very good by all terms. He's probably more. There's a terminology used on the around the NFL podcast, which I highly suggest to anyone who loves any uh, podcasts, especially about the NFL. They are really insightful about things. Rest in peace to Chris Wessling. Not Chris Wessling. Yeah, Chris Wessling. Uh, who recently passed away off the podcast. He's a super great influence and one of the motivations keeping me doing YouTube and entertainment things. But there's something called the Andy Dalton tier list. Back in 2015 or after 2015, after he was running up for the MVP, Andy Dalton became for years the league average, where his ceiling was very defined and his floor was very defined, and they were on his best days, it could be really good. On his worst days, it could be out of the league type of bad. But most average, he gave the Bengals so many years of being pretty decent. And I think Jimmy G is the definition of him and Derek Carr are probably tied for the definition of being the Andy Dalton on the Dalton scale. Hold up. I am doing something. Holy fuck, where did I put it? I guess I'll be fine. All right. So next team, the Patriots. The Patriots were like 5-6 win range, I believe. Um, After re-signing Cam Newton and it being quite apparent that they're probably gonna try and acquire somebody in the draft, probably not within the first 2 rounds. I wouldn't imagine, but I see him taking a third-round pick and making it work, or giving Cam time, or giving the quarterback time. Unfortunately, I kind of see maybe a bit of a step back. 5 to 6 wins is what I see him at, but mainly because the improvements were not the greatest. I don't. I Cam Newton last year was definitely a very serviceable quarterback, and I think for that is very good, very very great for the contract they got, which was a minimum last year. He played out of his mind for his contract. Um, but at the same time, they don't have a high enough pick to be getting one of these top tier quarterbacks. Four in the first 5 picks is what I've been hearing constantly. And outside of that, there are names that are arguably no better than the other. So yeah. All right, next one. So this is the interesting one. At number 6, I believe that they're at. The Panthers are in prime position to maybe not take a quarterback. Oh no, they say traded for Sam Darnold very recently, within the last couple of days, and with a huge cap hit of about 20 mil, I heard on Teddy Bridgewater. They weren't looking for a quarterback, but they're also hoping for Sam Darnold to be turn it around from being in the New York Jets team led by Adam Gase to this team. Now, I actually don't think that badly uh, of Sam Darnold. I actually think he's super talented and supremely underrated. More than Josh Rosen. I never really saw Josh Rosen one way or another. I was very neutral about Josh Rosen. I heard all the things about him, and Josh Allen, I absolutely knew was going to be a stud. His game style was leaning more towards what you saw out of Patrick Mahomes and what the NFL has become over the last couple of years. And so to me, Josh Allen's biggest thing was working on himself, and he's done outstanding at that. We'll get to the Bills when the Bills come up, but Sam Darnold is another one that I still feel has still very much untapped potential. I feel like it is a completely situational thing. Get him in with some receivers, give him Christian McCaffrey coming back from an injury, and he could do great things. Now, the only reason why I hold pause is because, I mean, seeing ghosts and all the things he's gone through in the last couple of years, I feel like that could have left him permanently damaged and shell shocked. For that, I'm going to hold out. But I'm going to say because this is going to be a more normal year, quote unquote, I'm going to give him 5 to 6. Well, you know what? I'm going to give him. I'm going to go up a tier. I'm going to give him that 7 to 8 win range because 7 and 9 or 9 and 7 is the best you could ever get now. With 70-game season, that's where we're at. Steelers. So last year they popped off 11 in a row and then got stomped the rest of the way down the schedule to wasn't miss to get bounced out by Cleveland. So excuse me for that. So for that, and knowing that Big Ben looked really old in the playoff game, and he's just going to get older. He hasn't retired. They haven't really thought about a great option at QB. Now their issues were solved, and I haven't heard anything from Juju. Running backs, debatable. They are not going to repeat from last year. I really think that they're only geared up for maybe at most 7 to 8, but more comfortable in that 5 to 6 range. They're going to drop massively. But I'm going to hold pause. I'm going to put them here, but I'm going to say they have the potential to move up to here. No further than the 7 to 8 win range, but only because their defense could be somewhat solid. Now remember, for all these teams, all of them, all 32, that there is a cap crunch, a pretty massive one coming up. So, the Vikings. Last year they were the Vikings. They were not great. Not terrible. I wouldn't think by 2020 standards they weren't terrible. Kirk Cousins isn't a good option. I'm gonna put it out there that I have been very skeptical of this. I was happy to see him get out of that situation, but the Vikings felt complacent while getting him. He wasn't a he's never been a game changer. He's been more of what he's been, an average starting quarterback over his entirety of his career. Um, from his days being drafted, I believe in the same year, very shortly after. No, I think it was in the same year as or a year after RG3, or it might have been the same year as RG3. It's impressive where he's come, but his biggest flaws are one, playoffs, two, good opponents, and three, having a bad defense. Now I know that they got oh, a very good veteran cornerback that they're going to probably slot in at two because he's not going to be mobile enough to go at one. I can't believe he's slipping my name. I'm not going to look it up, but I don't think that's going to solve their issues. They have a lot more issues, and they need to fix a couple more issues. A couple along the offensive line, and a couple. That's still some more to do defensively. I see them at 7 to 8 wins, maybe a bit more of it. I don't remember what their season was last season. There's been a lot that's going on in my life, but let's continue. Seahawks. The undoing of this team will be, unfortunately, the situation with Russell Wilson, where he's been wanted a trade and he has not gotten traded, and having Pete Carroll as a head coach. I unfortunately think for Pete Carroll, maybe the game has gotten too far past him. His days of running for Super Bowl are long gone. The team building has gone poorly, and they haven't had a team where I thought was even close to competitive for a Super Bowl, no matter how deep they were uh, estimated to go in the playoffs. No matter what, this team has been so underwhelming. Even in the Super Bowl years, other than like Marshawn Lynch and a couple of guys who have retired because of injury and because of other things, or they've moved on. Other than DK Metcalf, this team is completely uninteresting. It's almost like they're gonna become the Mariners or what the Seattle Seahawks were really before Steve Largent. Yeah, well, maybe they. I don't know what they. That could be wrong. They could become the next Jacksonville Jaguars, not like right now, Jacksonville. Jacksonville before they ran on the Saxonville thing. Just average. Eh? That's what they've been to me. So for that, I still see him being better than anybody in their division. I think 9 wins is probably where they're slated best to be at. Yeah, 10 wins is where they're best slated to be at. This is the first team that's going to go automatically here. Until I see otherwise, Kansas City, and unless injuries really hit, Kansas City is going to go automatically to 11 wins. Now, there really isn't any reason for them not to be at this point. If there's any arguments, I would like you to discuss the last 2 years with me. No matter what they've done, they have, you could say, stumbled, whatever, into 2 straight Super Bowls. Yes, they lost this last one, but that was to Brady. If Brady's in a Super Bowl, you're almost never winning, especially with a team with that's that explosive. We'll get there. Um, take a sip. That being said, the team hasn't had a lot of turnover from what I've seen, and honestly, that makes me reaffirmed in my position. The Lions, the Jared Goff experience plus changing coaches plus literally everything about their team being bad leads me to believe that they're going to be dog crap, and I'm going to put them right there. I'm just going to tuck them in right into bed. I honestly see him maybe getting 4 wins in this 2021 season. I just don't see anything going forward. After the trade for Jared Goff, I'm just kind of wondering what are they trying to do? What are they trying to get out of this? I know it's just trying to see whether he is as big of a bust as he is. He is. He's not. I mean, other than a playoff run, a deep playoff run, and the Super Bowl, there isn't really much to talk about. I don't think there's really much to talk about with him in general. I don't even think putting him in the right position at this point is going to help the fact that he is still inaccurate and not the best decision maker and really only fits in with a West Coast play action type of offense, which doesn't really suit the NFL well right now, which is one of 2 ways. Running it down your throat, a la Tennessee, or throwing the ball everywhere, a la Arizona, or what Arizona wanted to do. Philly. Oh God. Um, huh? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this stream, so I'll be back after I get back. So yeah.